We've played a lot this year, and it is time to talk about some abilities. I know you guys always are very curious and interested, and that's what we're going to do today. We got some downtime this week while we wait for content. So let's talk about abilities. Let's see what we think you should be running. If you can afford it, obviously AP is the thing, but it's ability talk. Let's go. If you're looking to build the best team in Madden, make sure you head over to MMOEXP.com to avoid the packs and save some racks. Use code CC for 5% off. Link is in the description below. Fastest coins, cheapest coins. Use code CC. We'll see you guys on the sticks. 5% off. Be great. Hey, what is going on, Madden family? Welcome to another video. Good morning. Hopefully everyone is having a great day so far. A couple things before we hop into the video. One, make sure you like the video. I would like 800 likes on the video. I don't know if you guys can do that, but that's what I would like. And then make sure you are subscribed to catch every other video. Secondly, just released my combo guide over on MaddenTurf.com. You can go pick that up. Use code CC when checking out. It'll save you 10%. It's like 105 minutes of stuff of me breaking down everything I do on offense, everything I do on defense, breaking it down as much as possible, and I was able to convince everyone to make it cheaper for everyone too. So there's that, and then there's also the pinned comment down below, which you can check out the Discord, and you can also check out Underdog Fantasy. Make sure you use code TheActualCC when you sign up there. But let's talk abilities. You're not going to be able to get all the abilities you want, and that's just the life that we live in, right? It's just the way it goes. It's the way it is. But I want to talk about the best abilities that you can use. Now, obviously, quarterback, we're going to start there. We know gunslinger and escape artist are both almost necessary, right? They truly are almost necessary, and I get that. You guys should know that by now, but I want to talk about the other things here, which we can indeed be using. So I'm going to just show you guys from some other perspectives here. One of the main things that I really think is super important on a quarterback if you're passing is a long range deadeye. This means that those deep throws, they get there. It's exactly the problem that Derrick Henry has. Now, if you have good, deep, medium, short accuracy on a quarterback, it's not as necessary, but man, you won't miss, right? And that is the biggest problem with someone like Derrick Henry. That's the problem with these scramblers right now that we have at quarterback, because they don't have this, so they will indeed miss passes. Now, this doesn't mean that they're immune to pressure or anything along those lines, but this ability will save you, and it's really cheap as well, and it's cheap on improvisers. It's going to be cheap on strong arms coming up, you know, that pending Josh Allen, which is on the way for sure. We know Big Josh is getting a card here, and I believe he's going to get it really early on here again for one in his first bucket. So long range deadeye is something you want to be looking out for with your quarterbacks. Now, again, those three abilities right there are great in tandem. Obviously, Hot Route Master, if you can afford it and you can get away with it, that's fine. It is such an AP save, but right now, with the way that the meta of the game is, Hot Route Master is tough, right? It's tough to find, it's tough to get. Now, when we talk about running backs here, let's view a couple here. Now, obviously, receiving backs, getting backfield master is great, but even having backfield mismatch on a running back is also really key, especially when you have a running back who isn't like the best at catching the ball. Like this Adrian Peterson at 72 catching, that's pretty low. He will drop passes, but having just backfield mismatch on there for 1 AP is also really good. Other things that I like on here, again, master is 2 outside of the receiving backs. Evasive, jukebox, spin cycle, all that. Not a huge fan. Grab and go human joystick, not a huge fan of, unfortunately. But one thing I love to do is jump. Hurdle people, and Leapfrog does a really good job at help preventing the fumbles on that as well. A lot of people do use it to just prevent fumbling in general. I get it. I understand why they used it. To me, this Leapfrog is kind of a, if you have Hot Route Master, you can probably afford it. If you don't have Hot Route Master, you probably can't afford it, right? And should you go for it? I don't know. All these other things right here, Bulldozer with the trucking backs, the Derrick Henrys of the world. Yes, it all is very good, but you break enough tackles as is, right? You're spending AP on something that you're probably fine without it. But running backs, obviously, very key there. Now, receivers, this one to me is really important. If you can indeed, if you're not using Hot Route Master, you want to use Slot Apprentice, Wide Receiver Apprentice, Outside Apprentice, all that as you need fit for your offense. But more importantly is Deep Out Elite. If you're not using this on receivers, I don't really know what you're doing. Let's be honest, okay? It is so good. Some of these other ones, meh, all right. Deep Out Elite is indeed the better one, because a lot of times if you're throwing those crossing routes, post routes, whatever it may be, that's the one you want. It's going to make them hold on to the ball really, really well. Now, with the way that the game is also changing, having a route technician or something like that can also be really important. But again, with an AP cost, if you do not have Hot Route Master, it makes it very difficult to afford this. It can be tricky, but you will smoke people in man more often than not with this. A lot of people like to run man. Route tech is very good, and the rest of the stuff here, I'm not huge on. Matchup Nightmare, Red Zone Threat has a little bit of viability there to it again, but those are really like, I have an extra AP, I'll throw a Red Zone Threat on someone. You know what I mean? I'm not focusing my offense around that. Normally getting down to the red zone is fairly easy anyway, right? Tight ends would be the same thing. Again, it really just depends how you use things. Abilities like Red Zone Threat really do help, but it also gets you into a bad habit of throwing covered passes in the red zone, and I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm just not, okay? Just call me crazy. I'm not. Now, defensively, this is where you need to be a little more specific with your AP. A lot of people do like pick artists. It does indeed work, right? I want to make that clear. Some of those passes which get thrown in into coverage, you will pick those off more often than not with it, and it is great. But the problem is you kind of would want it on everyone. So if you're going to put it out there, you need to put it on either flat zones or deep zones, right? When people just start chucking stuff, that's the best place for it. But pick artist is a good thing, but having acrobat to me feels a little more important. And then again, you're gonna have to be really specific with where you want to put your acrobats. I personally need them on my users to get some of those diving picks and plays. It's really, really important. You should have, if you like, find out who you user the most and like put it on that guy. You may user other people, but at least that guy needs to have it on there. As far as spreading that out, that is all up to you how you want to do stuff. When we get down to the D line, I think these two abilities are super, super important, and they're both on my guy Chris Jones here. Again, this is one of my favorite cards of the year. We're talking Run Stopper, which is really important, and you don't think of it as really important, but it is, because as the run plays happen and people do run the ball, it costs points to shed. This doesn't cost those points, so it also means that you get to keep your shed points up consistently, and it will help your run defense overall. Maybe not this tremendous amount, but when you suddenly get that random shed, man, that is super nice. And then having inside stuff. Now again, him getting inside stuff for 2 isn't ideal here, but inside stuff is very important. When we look at the rest of this stuff, I've tried all of these abilities. Defensive rally, do I think it helps? I do, but again, do I know? No, I can't point to it. Same thing with Double or Nothing. I don't notice it a ton. I've tried it out. Edge threat, very, very specific to the defense you are running. I can't just blindly say, go use this, because a lot of defenses, this won't even activate for you, okay? Goal line stuff, no point really in using that one. El Toro, a lot of people use that in the past. Again, don't love it. No Outsiders, same way. Enforcer, unfortunately, doesn't really feel like it does a lot. Tackle Supreme, again, having these guaranteed tackles is nice, but whatever. You don't see that a lot. These other moves where things are ignoring resistance, how much does that really work? We don't actually know, right? We don't know how much it truly does anything. Edge threat elite, run stopper, again, I like. Instant rebate right here can be helpful when paired with stuff, but again, I would rather be using an extra pick artist, an extra acrobat and stuff like that. Reach lead I also really enjoyed a lot, but how much was it really triggering and working in comparison to getting a, holding a 5-yard run to a 2-yard run as opposed to getting an interception, right? Again, it's a cost analysis right there for us. I feel like getting the interception weighs more personally, right? Unpredictable, again, same sort of way. And when you do this, unpredictable and run stopper, it is a really good combination because your shed attempts are free and they're not adding blocker resistance as well. Also very good combination there. If you can afford to do that, that is good. Under pressure, again, same thing as edge threat. When you use this, it's a very specific type of defense. That 4-3 even 6-1 is very good with this. Some of these really wide defenses, under pressure is good. Otherwise, it doesn't trigger a lot. I would use it in my 1-4-6 for 25 games, and I don't think I saw one person have a bad pass from it. And that's just the truth, right? And the rest of this stuff in here, not huge fans of. Overall, again, the cost analysis of what you're getting from some of these things, it's not really there. Now you will see that I have Cordero Patterson, and we have him active because he is a value with 1 step ahead in acrobat. If we look at the other cornerbacks, we'll take a look at a zone cornerback and a man-to-man cornerback here, just to see the abilities here that we can be getting. Bench press, too expensive. Some of these route KOs on zone cornerbacks, too expensive. They don't do much. 1 step ahead, too expensive. Lurker doesn't do enough. I tried for a while, if you guys remember the beginning of the year, throwing Lurker on my corners and stuff. Didn't really matter all that much. These deep KOs, mid-zone KO, I do like for 1. If you can get that for 1, it actually does help knock balls out. Reaction time, I don't know about reaction time, but it does something, And again, for 1, maybe you throw it on someone there. Chuck out, again, zone chucks fatigue the receiver. It's a really weird thing where, like, if you, obviously you have to be in zone, you have to be pressing. And if you start to like shade your coverage, it does not work either. So keep that in mind. If you're not a zone coverage shader, maybe this is something you want. But if you come out and say a cover 3, right, and you have, and you want to put a hard flat on the field, it's all of a sudden it ain't going to work. So keep that in mind. And then like the rest of this stuff, film study, I feel like is helpful, but for 5 AP, for knowing what someone's going to do sometimes, is it worth it? I don't think it's worth it. It was the thing that a lot of people were really worried about in the game for a while, and it's not overly useful. It's really not. Most people don't run this massively diverse set of plays. Can it be helpful? Yes, but you can have film study within your own brain just by able to identify what someone is doing immediately at the snap, keeping an eye on a single receiver, knowing what they're doing. Let's say in bunch, whether it's verticals or whatever it is. You can just keep an eye on someone and have a really good idea. Now, man-to-man corners, obviously different AP costs. The zone costs go up, man plays go down, right? Deep route KO for 2, medium route KO for 2. 1 step ahead is 4 instead of 5. Again, does 1 step ahead really do that much? I don't think so. We've had it on Patterson forever, but I was like, we might as well activate him because I like acrobat on him as well. And we're getting it for really cheap. Short for 1. Again, same concept here. What you should be doing is loading up with things that help your defense out the most. Okay, so let's take a look at the abilities I am actually rocking currently here. We see run stoppers right there. I've got an unpredictable. I've got some acrobats, right? We've got the free cam chancellor out of my way, and 1 step ahead acrobat right here. Again, very important. Acrobat right here. And then deep route KO on Pat P. The reason I have deep route KO on Pat P is because I try to man him up on the guy who I think is going deep, right? again, it's how you play your defense. Sometimes I blitz him, sometimes I don't. If I was going back to blitzing him a lot, I would take this off. That would be a waste of AP, right? And I would throw it onto someone else. But I do enjoy manning him up on who I think is the biggest deep threat on that play beforehand. It's helpful because if they catch the ball, he'll probably knock it out as long as he's close. Sometimes they're not close. But again, it's all about making sure that you're combining things correctly. Having inside stuffs are good, but you need big fat guys to do it. It's way better. It's over 300 pounds. Think Warren Sapp, Chris Jones, those types of guys, right? That's what you want. Having your acrobats. Now, I don't have any pick artists out here because I don't have the AP. I wish I did. If I could change things up, I would probably do something a little different and just throw acrobat on someone instead of Patterson here. Once he leaves the team, we'll probably just put acrobat on someone for 2 AP and then use that extra AP for a pick artist somewhere, because everyone could use it. In fact, I mean, it's kind of crazy to me that you have to pay to catch the ball. I think that is dumb. So this is going to be changing what we're going to be using here. Our RAP costs are going to be changing as the playoff promo likely heads on very soon. The big key is someone like Josh Allen getting a card. It's a really big key, which is going to change what we want to do on offense, and it'll change what we need to do on defense too, because this is Josh Allen should become like a meta quarterback within the game, and since he won't be 97 speed, it should allow you to do things a little bit differently on defense and not have this massive focus on these crazy escape artists. But what he will be able to get, again, long range Jedi for 1 in slot 1. In slot 2 here, you're going to be looking at escape artist for 4. People will probably still be running escape artist, right? So that's 5. And then in slot 3 right here, you're going to be looking at gunslinger. So you're talking 9 AP total for a quarterback, which isn't too bad for all things considered. I think that's what we're going to see. But again, how fast is his card going to be with escape artist? I mean, what, 89 speed probably? Way more containable than Derrick Henry, Jalen Hurts, Randall Cunningham, Tim Tebow, and all that. So that may change up what we want to do and some of those things too. So keep that in mind. The game is going to be changing quite a bit between all the promos coming. So those are the abilities I love to use. I think you need to be using a combination of those somehow, some way. Again, if you're really big at just, running the RPOs and stuff, obviously you're going to have different abilities. If you're like super heavy runner, you're going to have some different abilities. If you're just a man-to-man guy, you're obviously going to be focusing on those things. But a lot of people, escape artist, gunslinger right now, obviously. But if I can get you guys to do anything, run stopper, deep out elite, those are the 2, which if you're not using, you need to have somewhere on your field. 1 or 2 of them. I have 2 on my field at all times on offense and defense. So I love you guys. Be great. Let me know your favorite abilities down below, your favorite player to put them on, because it really does matter. Sometimes players will suck regardless, and sometimes the ability will make them into a little mutt god, so to speak, right? So you guys, I'm out. Peace.